It's back to school time in America now that it's September. Millions and millions of children have already returned to school, and everyone will have by next week, by after Labor Day, with almost all of them going to in-person learning. And that is a terrific thing. It's a great thing for our society, for the kids, for our country. What's not so terrific is that a lot of them are going to be going back into school systems that focus as much or even more on indoctrination than they do on actual classical learning. And unfortunately, we talked about it last night, some terrible examples from California, from both the Los Angeles as well as Sacramento school districts. It's happening all over the country, though. Those are not isolated cases. In Virginia, you might not believe this, but it's true. In Virginia, the Department of Education for the Commonwealth of Virginia, they are actually advising teachers to not refer to the terrorists from 9/11 as terrorists. I guess worried that we're going to offend terrorists elsewhere in the world. That kind of instance, unfortunately, is hardly unique. It's happening all over the country, including in the Manchester public school system. And we have somebody who resigned from that system in protest after a 6-year career as an educator there. Former Manchester public school teacher Jennifer Tafuto. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and thank you for having the bravery to do something that takes, frankly, a lot of guts. You know, so I want to ask you, before we get to the indoctrination of the children, let's first talk about the woke training that is required for the teachers. Can you tell us what kind of training were you made to go through by your school and by your school district?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you calling me brave, but our service men and women are definitely the brave ones. I'm just speaking my truth. So yes, the training involved a lot of talk about our discussions about race outside of school, the conversations that we should be having with our students in school, and examples like that racial timeline that I had provided is just one of the examples of an activity where they wanted us to talk about and think about the aspects of our life that involve race.
Right. And Jennifer, by the way, I find this fascinating. I mean, I'm smiling a little bit just because it's so absurd. Of course, it's not actually funny what they're trying to get teachers to do. But in terms of that timeline that they provided you, they wanted you to think about everything in your life in racial terms, including things as mundane, literally, as brushing your teeth. And I'm not making this up from the timeline you presented to us. Here's one of the quotes. My grooming, and this is supposed to be an example of how a teacher would think about their day. My grooming is so much about not just being clean and healthy. It is more about showing an extra clean and well-groomed, non-white racial example. So this is supposedly an example of what a teacher of color might observe if they think about brushing their teeth in racial terms. As a professional, as an educator, do you find this kind of instruction to be insulting?
Absolutely. I think it's extremely insulting. And from a personal standpoint, I did not participate in that. I did not feel comfortable thinking about race in all of those aspects of my life. And it's one of those things that, like you said, is just ridiculous.
Now, Jennifer, why did you get into teaching in the first place? What motivated you?
I was a fourth-generation teacher. I've always wanted to be a teacher. I love sharing my love of learning with my students. I've had wonderful students and families over the years. I will truly miss them. But at the end of the day, the work that's being done is not focused on unity as it should be in our country. It's very divisive, and I don't think that it's going to be helping our students in the long run.
Right. Now let's talk about the students, since we already talked about the indoctrination for the teachers. Let's talk about what they're doing, what these school districts are doing to the students themselves. You know, I really believe that this country, until very recently at least, had made unbelievable racial progress in recent decades. You know, just in my lifetime, and I'm older than you, Jennifer, but in my lifetime, I think there was a lot of racism when I was young, and there was almost none as recently as a few years ago, particularly among young people. Young people just literally didn't see race. I saw this in my own kids. I saw it in a lot of coaching that I've done interacting with young people. They literally did not see race. I think we were in many ways achieving a post-racial society, and yet now these forces, a lot of them in education, are dragging us back to a place where they're almost forcing kids to see each other first and foremost through a racial lens. Do you worry that that's what was being done? Is that part of why you've resigned in protest?
Definitely. I made a comment that most of my students were so naive to these conversations that, they were pointing out the characters' T-shirt colors and their shoes and the sports they were playing in some of the books that I was reading with them. And I was reminded by a parent of a student last year, just the other day, that in fact, her daughter was pointing out people in a public setting based on the color of their skin. So it's a very interesting dynamic where they are very young. I taught 7- and 8-year-olds, and it was going so far over their heads, but it also is being repeated and pushed in a way where there are implications. And this parent saw it in real time, and she was extremely concerned about it.
Sure. Well, Jennifer, I hope you're not done teaching. Are you going to try to find some place where you can, in good conscience, still be an educator?
If anyone is looking to hire a teacher who, wants to focus on unity and that we're all created equal, then give me a call. I'd love to teach for you.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Jennifer Tafuto, thank you so much for your bravery, and thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.